Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. We'll give you a break today from talking about you-know-who. The bromance between President Trump and King Charles may be over. Trump is reportedly less than pleased after King Charles welcomed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to Sandringham, just days after Trump had a tense Oval Office meeting with the Ukrainian leader. According to the Daily Mail, the photos of the king standing shoulder to shoulder with Zelensky have left Trump feeling that his own invitation for a state visit to the UK, publicly extended by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, has been made to feel less special. Diplomatic sources in Washington suggested that Trump's allies quietly expressed their dissatisfaction to the British government, but were told in no uncertain terms that they could not direct King Charles to call off the Zelensky meeting. A well-placed source confirmed things definitely went a bit cool in Washington after Sandringham. We told them that the king makes his own decisions about who he meets. Tensions between Trump and Charles may be further complicated by Trump's recent criticism of Canada, where Charles remains head of state. The Sunday Times reports that Charles is particularly mindful of his role in Canada as well as the Commonwealth. Charles demonstrated his commitment to healthcare education by refreshing his first aid skills, practicing CPR on a dummy patient under the guidance of nursing cadets. The king, who has previous training in resuscitation, visited the headquarters of the Royal College of Nursing in central London to mark the milestone of the 1000th RCN King's Nursing Cadet. William has mastered the art of feeding the media. Give the paps some pictures and something to write about, and the press coverage goes a lot easier. William was out being fabulous and demonstrated his easy rapport with children and his enthusiasm for football during a visit to Sporting Kansas FC. Upon arrival, William was warmly received by hundreds of schoolchildren and local residents. According to reports, he took his time greeting pupils from Fibersley Park Academy, exchanging handshakes, hugs, and what he jokingly called a record-breaking number of high fives in 10 minutes, many of which were photographed. A particularly well-received moment came when he spotted a sign declaring Aston Villa is the best, a sentiment close to his heart as a devoted fan of the club. He gave a thumbs up in response, much to the delight of the young supporter who had made it. One of the more touching moments of the visit occurred when a young boy caught William's eye with an enthusiastic wave before opening his arms wide for a hug. The prince, never one to refuse such an earnest request, obliged, earning an audible awe from the crowd, and quite the photo. His warm interactions with the children caused a slight delay in his schedule, prompting him to apologize upon arrival at the referee training session, where he learned about officiating techniques, including fouls, whistle tones, and flag signals. He also spoke with professional referee and British Army Lieutenant Levi Gray about the evolution of women's football and the importance of representation in the sport. Reflecting on their conversation, Gray said, "We spoke about women in football, which I think is definitely growing, and how different the women's game is to the men's in terms of it being a bit more of a family event and a bit more supportive. We want to be able to see people who are watching football at home or on the sidelines and think, that could be me. Without events like this where you build representation, that won't happen." Of meeting William, she added, "It was brilliant. I am so pleased I could be here and that he could come down and support an event like this." William is set to embark on a solo visit to Estonia on March 20th and 21st, marking his first international trip of the year and his inaugural visit to the Baltic nation. His journey follows that of his uncle, Prince Edward, who undertook a similar visit in January. Travelling in his role as Colonel-in-Chief of the Mercian Regiment, the Prince of Wales will observe how British troops are supporting NATO's eastern flank as part of Operation Cabret. This deployment, led by the UK, forms part of the NATO's enhanced forward presence in the Baltic states, designed to bolster Euro-Atlantic security and deter potential threats. While in Estonia, William will also visit the capital, Tallinn, to gain insight into the country's response to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and explore its advancements in renewable energy and technology. His visit underscores the British royal family's ongoing support for Ukraine, a stance they have maintained since the onset of the Russian invasion 3 years ago. Kate is not expected to be on the trip. The wonderful Princess of Wales has been favouring red in her wardrobe choices of late, prompting speculation over whether the colour shift is a deliberate style statement or a more strategic move. While Kate has long been known for her affinity for blue, once the dominant shade among senior royal women, her recent ensembles have leaned heavily towards vibrant reds. Since December, the princess has made several high-profile appearances in striking red outfits. She wore Alexander McQueen to her Together at Christmas Carol concert on December 6th, a maroon turtleneck for a prison visit on February 11th, another McQueen creation in Wales on February 26th, and most recently, Catherine Walker for the Commonwealth Day service on March 10th. This pattern suggests more than mere coincidence. There are a few theories behind the change. Some speculate that as the most senior women in the royal family, Queen Camilla gets first choice on outfits, and her preferences for blue may have led Kate to lean into red instead. Others point to flag dressing, with red representing one of the colours of the Union Jack, symbolising her growing role in the monarchy. Another explanation could be practicality. A recent Sunday Times article suggested Kate wants attention to shift from her wardrobe to her work. A palace source was quoted as saying she wants the focus to be on the really important issues, the people and the causes she is spotlighting. Repeating a strong signature colour could be a way to reduce focus on individual outfits and reinforce her messaging. Still, as Susan Kelly, founder of What Kate Wore, pointed out to People, it's understandable that the princess would like the emphasis to be on her work and not her fashion. However, two things can be true. Journalists like myself, as well as bloggers, can cover both the work being done by the princess and her fashion. The old, happy-looking, cool guy Prince Harry made a solo appearance in Santa Barbara over the weekend, attending the 1805 Rock for Responders benefit at the Granada Theatre. The event, organised by Santa Barbara nonprofit 1805, aimed to support first responders in the wake of the devastating California wildfires earlier this year. Harry was seen engaging with first responders during the VIP cocktail hour. The concert, featuring performances by Hootie and the Blowfish, Kenny Loggins and Macy Gray, raised funds for Music Cares, supporting musicians affected by the fires, as well as mental health programs for first responders in Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. Harry looked quite happy in photos, as if the world had been lifted off his shoulders. She who shall not be named today did not attend the event. The Grand Ducal family of Luxembourg has announced the passing of Prince Frederick at the age of 22. His father, Prince Robert of Luxembourg, shared the heartbreaking news in a statement on the POLG Foundation website honoring his son's life and legacy. It is with a very heavy heart that my wife and I would like to inform you of the passing of our son. The POLG Foundation founder and creative director, Frederick, Prince Robert wrote. He recounted the deeply emotional moment on February 28th, Rare Disease Day, when his son gathered the strength to bid farewell to his family. Frederick found the strength and the courage to say goodbye to each of us in turn, he said, expressing particular gratitude to his wife, Princess Julie of Nassau, who had not left Frederick's side in 15 years. Prince Robert shared a poignant exchange with his son, recalling Frederick's final question, "Papa, are you proud of me?" Though he had always reassured his son of his pride, Frederick sought confirmation that he had done everything he could in his short but meaningful life. He needed reassurance that he had contributed all that he possibly could in his short and beautiful existence, and that he could now finally move on, his father wrote. Prince Frederick, who was born with POLG, mitochondrial disease, dedicated his life to raising awareness of the rare diseases through his foundation. He was diagnosed at the age of 14 as the symptoms of the condition became more apparent. POLG disease is a genetic mitochondrial disorder that robs the body cells of energy, in turn causing progressive multiple organ, brain, nerves, liver, intestines, muscles, swallowing, and ocular functions, dysfunction, and failure, Prince Robert explained. He likened it to a faulty battery that never fully recharges, is in a constant state of depletion, and eventually loses power. Despite the challenges of his illness, Prince Frederick worked tirelessly to advance research and awareness through the POLG Foundation, ensuring that others would not suffer in silence. His legacy, built on resilience and purpose, will undoubtedly live on in the work he started. And there you have it. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue.